Well,
well,
here we go. Here we go. Welcome to Dancer's Paradise, a podcast where we talk about things and sometimes stuff. We are joined by Tsungar and KylarEmiya and Strider. Hello. And today we're going to talk about two movies that everybody and their grandmother has seen. We just want to get them out of the way. So we have The Room, which y'all should know by now, 2003 American independent drama film by Tommy Wiseau, and we did Troll 2 as well. But these guys never saw either of those movies in full.
Nope.
Not at all. I've seen so much of them, I kept calling the main characters by the actors' names. I forgot what the actual actors' name is. Yeah. So, what are your guys' thoughts on The Room?
Well, the thing about The Room is, like, I've heard of The Room, and I've heard that's like the worst film ever created. And after watching it, because we've watched so many bad movies for a few weeks now, like what, month and a half or so, it honestly wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It did seem kind of mellow upon rewatch compared to some of the stuff we've gone through. Like, it wasn't crazy.
Like that's no Suburban Sasquatch. I'm gonna be real.
No.
But after looking into the movie, you actually get to see why this was one of the worst films ever made. Because one thing you do not realize when you watch this is a $6 million movie.
No shit, really? I had no idea it was $6 million.
Yes, it is a $6 million movie, and it's like, oh, that's why this is one of the worst films ever created.
That is insanity. Like, I know there's they made The Disaster Artist, which I actually tried watching a while back, and I kind of turned it off because I was like, I already saw The Room. I don't need to see it again by two people pretending to be other people. And I know that at some of the places nearby, they have the cult movie nights, and people will go and when they see the picture of the spoon, they'll spoon and they'll throw shit at the screen and all that kind of stuff. So it's been around for a long time. And I guess generally people love Tommy Wiseau. He understands what he did is a mess.
And he's kind of embraced it at this point.
Well, he's embraced the whole meme aspect.
He absolutely has. And what sucks though is they've tried to give him other things to do, and they've all been not fun bad, but miserable, which is something I hate watching. There's a difference between good bad movies and just a miserable watch. And the shows that he's done afterwards are not very entertaining in any fashion.
I honestly felt this was kind of like that too. Compared to Neil Breen movies, or like I said, Suburban Sasquatch and stuff, The Room was honestly kind of boring.
I think I'm right there with you, dude. I think Neil Breen usurped Tommy Wiseau. I mean, Tommy Wiseau is the original, but Neil Breen is just put the just.
Well, it's because Neil Breen is fucking over the top, man.
The other
without
thing,
trying to be.
The other thing with Neil Breen is his movies there's ups and downs in the pacing. Neil Breen can have wildly different scenes within 5 minutes of each other, but have the same scene go on for 15 minutes. But The Room just kind of slogged along the entire time.
At least The Room made more sense.
I think a big part of it is the Room is just more. The plot for The Room is just plain more grounded than a lot of the other worst movies we've watched. It's much more simple and easier to follow than pretty much any of Neil Breen's movies. His are just wacky and unbelievable, and they're part of what make them so fun to watch because you really just have no idea what's going on.
It's more interesting, at least to me, watching the Neil Breen, because it's this is a grown ass man who's a successful architect and real estate agent who's writing this insane nonsense and acting it out insanely and hiring the worst actors he can find and then saying it's all great while Tommy Wiseau is obviously I guarantee English is his second language, so you can account for the poor writing and the acting. It's all no-name actors, and it's a very concise, simple plot. He didn't try.
I love the way he talks, man.
The other thing is, as you pointed out when we were watching, is it felt like he definitely was inspired by sitcoms.
Right?
It seems like because there's always people entering and leaving to the same one-way door. There's this every scene starts with someone walking in.
I was like, in my head, I was hearing like a laugh track anytime somebody random opened the door and was like, "What's up, guys?" It's like, okay, all right, this is sitcom nonsense.
Yeah, here's the thing about that too, is that's mostly because The Room was originally supposed to be a play. It wasn't supposed to be a movie.
Oh,
It was going to be a play. But then he decided to make it into a book. It was like a really long, apparently 500-page book that never got published. And after that, then he made it into a film. So I think that's probably where you get that sitcom feel, is because it's supposed to play out as a play. So you basically have like very limited locations and just too many characters coming in and out of them way too often.
So before we get all through the backstory, if nobody's seen The Room, we'll just try to go through it without getting too lost.
Oh God!
So
that ain't happening.
well, I mean, it's compared to Neil Breen, like we were saying, it's fairly simple.
It's more straightforward.
It's set in San Francisco. It all takes place in like a room and an alley and a rooftop and then a park, I guess, and maybe a flower shop.
The flower shop is like one scene.
Yeah, the thing is, like, they're like some of those places, like the rooftop and everything, aren't even like a real rooftop. They're just sets.
Yeah.
So they end up looking faker than it, and
Yeah, that city
worse
back
than it
was
would have
pretty
been
bad.
if they just had filmed like in those places.
There's not even a plot on Wikipedia. It's all just, oh, okay, never mind.
There's a plot. It's just really,
There's a
really
plot.
short.
So I can't remember how it starts. It opens
So-
on the bridge with sad music, I guess.
Yeah, we get a nice view of the Golden Gate Bridge. And then basically it just starts out with the two main characters, Johnny and then his fiancée, Lisa. And it's just the two of them. We're introduced to both of them. And just, I'm trying to think of what even happened. There's
Don't
so
forget
much.
Denny.
They start with a pillow fight, right? They're like having a pillow fight, and then weird ass Denny walks in, who's
Denny comes in.
obviously
Yeah,
got
that's
some
it.
issues. The actor, I kind of wanted to find out what else he's done, because I can't imagine.
What is his
That-
name? Philip Lattyman? He doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, man.
Yeah, a lot of I'm noticing a lot of these movies we watch are like the first and last movie for all the people in them.
Can you blame them? Really? Can you blame them?
Look at
Hey,
my
the drug
actor.
dealer guy has a Wikipedia page.
He put on him and the one guy who was like over the top with his comedy routine were like the only people who seemed like they might work in something else. Everybody else though is a nightmare. They have a pillow fight, Johnny and his awful fiance.
So awful. I don't think it's
She-
possible to hate a character more, man. Ugh.
She, like I said, she contends for Skylar in Breaking Bad as like most hateable character.
Don't bring up Skylar from Breening.
We were with Skylar longer, so maybe that's why there's more hate there. But
I don't need those memories, man.
you need it.
And yeah, Denny show up, one of the neighbors who's really young. I think they said he was like 18 or something.
He's 18 or
Um,
19. He's supposed to be a college
Yeah.
student.
Yeah, you can tell he's very young. And it was really weird when he came in because they go upstairs and they're literally having a pillow fight like on their bed, and you can tell the vibe of the room of what's going to happen.
It's foreplay.
And yeah. And Denny's just kind of there like joining them.
He
He's
says,
like,
like,
yeah,
"Can I
wanna-"
watch?"
Yeah. He's like, can I watch what's about to happen? And they're like, no.
Oh, Denny. No, they don't even like try to do that. They're just like, "Oh, Denny, you're so funny."
Right. And he's like, oh shucks, and he just leaves. It's really strange. I don't understand why they thought that was okay. Like no one tried to stop Tommy and be like, yo, this is kind of weird. But quick disclaimer too: the version that we watched had all of the sex scenes in this movie edited out because there's a lot of them.
It was funny to me because I was telling you, like, if we're watching the movie, there's sex scenes and they're real bad and they're real long, and I'm just gonna skip through them. And then the version we watched, somebody had apparently thought the same thing and just edited them all out. I was like, let's go, that's my guy.
I think it
That's
ended up
my
being
guy.
like what 12 minutes of sex scenes that we skipped over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So quick disclaimer there. We never watched any of them, just everything leading up and then it cut. But right off the bat, we get a sex scene. And the foreplay, if you want to call it that, that went on was so fucking long. I wish she cut that too. Oh my god.
The pillow fight and the tickling.
Yes.
All this
It was
nonsense.
fucking weird. It was so
5
weird.
straight minutes. It was terrible.
I remember scenes of the movie. I don't remember what section.
It's
of
hard
the
to
movie they're
remember,
in.
honestly, because like I said, the movie's really slow and it really slogs through everything. So a lot
is
of the
like a
scenes,
play.
because they all happen in the same places, they blur together very easily. So it's hard to remember them.
That's true. I didn't think about that. They're all in the same setting, so there's like no way to really differentiate.
They're very forgettable.
It's like every setting, like the most used setting is the fucking just the room, the apartment.
The other thing is like, it feels like the scenes that are put in there, some of them are trying to accomplish the exact same thing. Like a scene 25 minutes later will just basically repeat what was said in a scene from earlier.
It is weird.
There's a lot of repetition in this movie.
Yeah. But after that, we cut because, it's sex scene. And then we get to Lisa's now home alone because Johnny, who's a banker, has gone to work by now. I think they said Lisa has a job. They mentioned that she has a client, but they never go into specifics on what she actually does.
She mentioned something about computers, but that was like a offhanded line that really never went anywhere. So she just sits at home all day being awful.
Pretty much. It's made very apparent in this scene where Lisa's mother comes to talk to her that Johnny pretty much does everything. He pays for everything she has, the house, or excuse me, the apartment building, the car that she has, pretty much everything. He is financially supporting her through pretty much everything she does.
And Denny and her
Denny
mom
as well.
And
I hate his name is Denny.
Denny, whatever.
I just want to say Danny.
I want to say Denny's and order me a
Yeah, or eat some fucking breakfast.
Get
sandwich.
some flapjacks.
Hell yeah.
The thing that I noticed as well is like these guys all have some sort of like god complex. Like Tommy is written as, or Johnny,
Oh my
I guess.
God.
He's written as like a #1 king of San Francisco. Like he's the nicest guy. He supports people financially. He's best friend. He's nice to everybody.
He can do no wrong.
Yeah, he's just a good guy, and the world is terrible to him, just like Neil Breen. It's a trend. It's noticeable. We also saw a shoe shot, which is noticeable between all these movies as well. I don't remember where it was, but
It was when they were all walking. Was it when they were walking out of the alleyway after they played football in suits and tuxedos? I think it was.
I
think that was it.
Anyway.
That vibe becomes super apparent because in that next scene with Lisa talking to her mother, they get straight into it. She's like, I don't love Johnny anymore. He's so boring.
They've done nothing to like the scene before this. Like they look like lovebirds. You don't know that Lisa's a piece of shit yet.
And they're having fun.
Yeah,
it feels like honeymoon phase, right? Like they feel like so in love. Like it almost feels like they're in a new relationship. Like they've only been with each other maybe a couple years, and apparently they said 5, but they've also said 7.
Yeah,
so I'm not
it
sure.
Changes.
Yeah, it changes. But she's just straight up's like, I don't love him anymore. He's so boring. And and the mother's like, are you crazy? He like pays everything for you. And it's completely crazy. Excuse me, because it's very apparent that they're trying to make Lisa as shallow as possible.
I mean, they do a good job.
They definitely do.
To be fair, it's obvious, but it works.
Yes, she is very easily hateable.
And then man, I am like so drawing a blank on like how somebody else is gonna have to guide where the movie goes.
No, you're good. You're good because immediately after that, Lisa makes a phone call to a man we haven't met before.
Oh, that's right. And she says, "Hey, baby," and it's like, wait a minute.
So we learn that Lisa's also cheating on Johnny.
She wasn't yet. She wasn't yet. She called him. She calls his best friend and immediately is like, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" And he's like, "What are you calling me for?" Like, like they obviously haven't started their affair.
And it's kind of amusing just how long it takes for Johnny's friend Mark to figure out what she's getting at, because it's not even just in this scene he doesn't get it. Even like in a scene later down when they finally meet and the affair starts quote unquote proper, he doesn't figure it out for like 3 to 5 full minutes.
No, and you can see the flickering light bulb finally just dink on.
The hamster is running as fast as it can.
The thing is, once he fucking realizes though, it's like he flips real quick and is like, "Yeah, we're doing this."
Yeah, in one scene he's like, "I could never do that to my friend," and then she takes his shirt off and he just goes for it, and it's like,
he's
wait,
like, "Oh no, I'm a different person now." You turn on my button.
And the next time she calls him, he's like, "Don't call me anymore." And then the next time she calls him, he like comes over, and it's like, "Well, fucking pick a side, dog. You're a piece of shit too."
That's kind of a repeating thing, as characters flip-flop between how they should act. It's almost like it's a roulette wheel. It just, well, this is how I'm acting for this scene.
Danny stayed the same.
Because there's scenes with Lisa that she's like, "I don't love Johnny anymore," and then like the next scene, you could hardly tell her any different from when like the first scene we saw from the pillow fight. It's like back and forth.
Yeah,
after, very, very inconsistent.
Yeah, after that scene with Lisa meeting with Johnny's best friend, who we learned is named Mark, we get some very weird things happening, because we get the next day Lisa sees her mother again, and she's basically coming over like every day to go talk to her. And then after this, like, you get to see there's just a lot of useless information. Like I wrote stuff down that didn't end up mattering like at all. Like there was a plot thread about Lisa's mom's brother wanting to sell her house and try to make money. There was stuff about Edward, who is the mom's ex-husband, and it's just useless information that never comes up ever again. And it starts to become a trend, because there's lots of scenes like that. You could honestly cut it out and you wouldn't miss nothing. It's very weird. We also learned that the mom also has breast cancer too, which also goes nowhere. Lisa barely even acknowledges it. It's really strange.
Lisa's just like, "You'll be fine."
And right after that, we get Lisa with Johnny again in the room, and they're having another pillow fight again, acting like they're so in love. The very same scene we saw in the beginning of the movie, and you would never guess that Lisa's a piece of shit.
Dude, pillow fights are like the most sexually charged environment. What do you mean?
It's true, they are.
One of the other things now that I'm thinking about is like when characters are talking about Johnny and Lisa, they always refer to them as, or like when those two are talking to the characters, they always refer to each, like Johnny refers to Lisa, or Lisa refers to Johnny as my future husband and my future wife.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it, because they don't use the word fiance ever.
Pretty much every aspect about the dialogue's all screwed up.
Yeah, the dialogue
it's just
is
Tom Wiseau being a weirdo, though.
That first conversation that Lisa calls Mark and they talk, like, it sounded like they were having two completely different conversations. She'd be like, "Oh, baby, I love you," and he's like, "Yeah, okay, what's up?" Like, all right.
I see you tomorrow.
Yeah, it was very strange.
It's written terribly, which is surprising considering this movie was originally supposed to be a play, but not very surprising once you actually start to watch the movie and you can see.
I mean, Tom Wiseau wrote it.
Yeah, the other thing too is all of Tommy's lines for Johnny, almost all of them are dubbed over.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why. I don't know what happened and why they had to do that in post.
Super thick. So
it might have been that.
Dude, I love the way Tom Wiseau talks.
Chicken, cheap.
Oh my god! Or starting every conversation with, "Oh hi."
Oh hi.
Oh hi,
How was your
Mark.
sex life?
And after that, that's where the drama really starts, I suppose, if you don't count the whole cheating thing. Because then Lisa just starts straight up lying. So we get to the next day after the second pillow fight scene. Lisa's mom is over again, and she said, "Oh, Johnny got so drunk last night and he hit me."
The way she says it is my favorite. She's like, "Johnny got drunk and he didn't get his promotion." Pause. And he hit me.
Yeah, like she was thinking that up on the spot.
The hardest lie.
It's like she's coming up with It's like she's coming up with excuses on why she shouldn't love Johnny anymore. Because by all rights, like she's a complete piece of shit. So it's like she's trying to convince herself at that point. I don't know if that's intentional or not. I doubt it.
I think it's just the actress being bad.
I mean,
Also, bad writing.
yeah, everything is bad.
It's probably poor direction more than anything.
Yeah, because you do have to remember that Tommy Wiseau's behind the camera the whole time, telling everybody exactly what to do. Which is why I'm like, every time Greg Sestero, who played Mark, is on screen, I'm like looking at his eyes, and he's just like, "What the fuck is going on?" And he can't say anything because it's Tommy's movie. He's just there for the ride.
That's true. Poor Greg. He must have had a heart attack watching some of the stuff happening. Like, no, that's not how you do this.
Well, he's the
What's
one who
actually
wrote
great
the
too.
Disaster Artist, right?
Now that you brought up cameras, one of the funny things about the filming of this movie is the fact that it was filmed twice at once.
What do you mean?
If you don't know what I mean, so he wanted to be one of the first directors to film in both film and HD. So he got this thing where basically a mount that mounts two different types of cameras at once. So the film was actually filmed twice, once in film and once in HD.
That would explain why there's some scenes that seem like there's other parts cut in between. Like it's obviously the same shot, but it's from like, I don't know. Something's different about it. I couldn't tell what it was, but you'll have a cut that's in between two other cuts that doesn't quite fit. Something's off.
Mm-hmm.
Just little weird things that popped out here and there.
And then after Lisa just lies about Johnny hitting her, which never really leads up to anything anyway.
No.
We get more weird things because they're trying to introduce more characters at this point. But the problem is they only have like this one place. So it's very strange when they walk into their own house and there's just two people that we don't know just making out on the couch.
That whole thing was weird. I didn't like. I guess she just lets her friends fuck when she's not home. She's like, you guys can just bang on my couch.
They're
like, that's fine.
Did they have a key to their place, or was the place just unlocked? I can't remember if they
place was just mostly unlocked. It seemed like because there's way too many people that enter, unless they have like 9 sets of spare keys.
Well, Denny straight up says he has a key.
Yeah, but also Lisa's mother walks in. Both of those got people walk in on their own.
Communal apartment.
Mark also walks in on his own, I think.
Yeah, it starts a pattern of you just have people just straight up walking onto set. And the context of it makes it very strange because like they're just walking in on people's houses.
They say it's an apartment complex too, except it's definitely a house from what they show on the outside. Like
every time they're coming up the park and stuff, it is definitely a house.
And after that, we have just more useless scenes. We get one on the roof now where Denny has a run-in with his drug dealer, Chris.
Oh my god.
Completely out of left field.
Chris R specifically.
Chris R. Chris R. Which does not roll off the
Chris
tongue.
Dash R.
Chris R.
It's like when you watch the movie, Denny does not he doesn't look like he's smoking crack on the side. All right, like
he looks like he got problems, but he ain't drug problems.
He had different type of problems.
Yeah. So it's very strange. But basically, Johnny, with the help of Mark, fight off this drug dealer who's trying to get his money from Denny that he owes him. So they fight him off, and then after that, that's basically it. It's never a problem ever again.
I do like that scene though, because Lisa is screaming in Denny's face, "What do you want the drugs for? What are you doing, Denny?" And they're just screaming at, "I don't know. What are you doing, Denny? I don't know. Why are you doing this? I don't know. You're not my fucking mother."
Oh yeah, it's Lisa's mom. You're not my fucking mother. Oh, never.
Stop ganging up on me.
Oh yeah, stop ganging up on me. And then it's real quick, but Tommy and Mark show up and grab the drug dealer, and there's just a line off screen. "Let's take him to the police," and they just kind of drag him off there, and then they show back up 5 minutes later, they just dropped him off at the police station and ran back up the stairs, they live next door.
All of the that are introduced in this, almost all of them are dropped at the end of this scene. They don't go anywhere.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah, you never
police,
hear about Denny's drug problem again, I don't think.
No, you don't.
like, you never figure out like the whole issue with the drug dealer asking for money, like, or the repercussions of what they did. Nothing.
that was the only scene where the Chris R it's a thing. He never shows up again.
Never before, never again. It just happens and then it's done.
He went off.
It doesn't end there either. There's more, because like after this scene, we get like a talk between Johnny and Denny, and Denny is like, he basically says, "I want to fuck your fiance." he doesn't say that.
He says, "I'm in love." It's supposed to be cute teen love, except he's definitely a grown ass man.
Yeah,
well, he's a college student at this point. So yeah.
And Johnny's so chill about it. He's like, don't worry about it. He actually says that. Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay.
They say many times he's a father figure and he trusts Lisa. I trust Lisa.
Yeah.
Also that she only loves Denny as a friend.
Only as a friend.
And basically tells him to go after like a classmate of his instead. And that's the end of that problem. And it's again just more stuff.
That's the plan.
He says specifically to go after his girlfriend, right? Like it's implied that Denny has a girlfriend at this point. Elizabeth.
I don't remember.
I
think it's like a girl he's interested in.
I specifically remember the term girlfriend being used by Johnny. I don't.
Maybe
I don't remember if it's then or later.
He was talking to Mark about a girlfriend.
Yeah, but he also mentions it to Denny. I do remember this.
I don't remember that.
I think he mentions that chick by name to Denny though. I don't think he ever says actually his girlfriend.
But this is like so not even a thing. Like this is not even worth talking about.
Well, it doesn't go anywhere. No. It's not a plot point.
Because we're not done with that rooftop. Here's the thing. So Mark also meets a friend of his, and Johnny's as well. They're mutual friends. Peter, who is a psychologist.
Before that, they had the scene where he calls Peter a chicken, and they tell him he's a chicken. Cheap. And
I don't remember why they were telling him that.
He wouldn't like playing ball with them and stuff.
They were talking about running like Beta Breakers or something, which is a marathon in San Francisco. And Peter said, "No, I don't want to do it." And they go, "You're a chicken." And what's really weird about it is like Tommy Wiseau goes cheap, which is not what an American would say a chicken sounds like, right? And then Denny and Mark join in and they're both like cheap. There's a whole bunch of people going cheap, and it makes no fucking sense. I don't understand.
Some weird like bully thing.
But the fact that like nobody turned to Tommy and was like, "Yo, dude, that's not what chickens sound like. Show me a chicken that goes cheap."
It's weird. It's the same. You see that a lot with a lot of bad directors. I guess no one wants to bother with it.
Yeah.
After that is when Mark's talking with Peter on the roof. Johnny isn't there at this point. It's just the two of them, and he admits to Peter that he's having an affair with Lisa, Johnny's fiance. And after Peter's just like, what the hell, dude? You shouldn't be doing that. Mark straight up just tries to murder him and throw him off of the roof.
I forgot about that. He straight up dangles him over the edge like halfway.
And Peter, being the strapping man that he is able to save himself. And then after that, he's like, "Oh, we're cool.
It's cool." Yeah, this
that's
just
that
happens.
problem solved.
He doesn't even say like, "Let's take this off the roof." Like, he's like, "Let's continue talking about your emotional problems right here where you tried to murder me."
It's so strange. At that point, like I'm thinking that there's no way this movie is real. Like there has to be a point where someone's like, "Okay, this person just tried to murder this guy. Should he really be that okay with it?"
No. It never comes up again. In fact, they're friends later on. Like nothing's happening.
You'll never see any evidence of that ever happening. It's incredible.
Wait, was Peter the one that got pushed into the... No, Peter fell down. The other guy got pushed into the trash can. God, Mark is kind of an asshole.
No, that was Peter.
Peter got pushed in the trash can?
Yeah, he fell down both times I played ball.
Oh. Was he...
No, wait,
it was the underwear
guy.
Yeah.
You're like so similar. Fucking...
Yeah, after that, there's more. There's a lot more, honestly, but you could just get rid of it. You could throw it all in the garbage. There's no point to any of the next like half hour in that movie, to be honest with you.
There's a
Um,
sex scene between Mark and Lisa, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's
yeah,
one
there
of
is.
those. You get more talking with Lisa and her mother, but they're just reiterating the same things over and over. You get the guys, Johnny, Mark, Mike, and Peter, who are just in tuxedos. I think they were just trying to like try them on for the wedding that's coming up in like a month or so.
That's right.
Always a month.
You get a scene where Johnny and Mark are talking and jogging and exercising. Again, goes nowhere. There's no point to any of them.
Yeah, they're just
It's
out in the
How's your
field, like,
sex life?
yeah, although the one thing we did miss is that at some point Tommy goes to a flower shop and the dialogue is it's just
Hi,
perfect.
He
doggy.
does.
He just
I
walks
forgot
in
about
and
the
goes, "Hi."
The flowers scene.
Oh, I didn't know it was you, Tommy. Yeah, it's me. Can I have flowers? Yeah, that'll be 18. Here's keep the change. Hi, doggy, and then leaves, and that's the whole scene.
Hi, doggy.
Everyone is like trying to speed run that scene.
Yeah,
Everyone's speaking so fast. There's like little delay between in each line.
they cut
I
each
think
other
they're
off.
overlapping.
Yeah, they're straight cutting
Yeah.
each other off.
It's one of the fastest scenes I've ever seen.
Not only, here's the thing, it's dubbed too. So he dubbed it, cutting her off.
Sound of his own, man.
He actively cut her off on purpose. He made that happen.
Just
What am I-
muted her. Like, get out of here.
One of my favorite things is that the dog got $100 for starring in that scene.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Lucky dog.
Hey, that dog did a great job.
He did. He sat
He
on
did,
that
he
counter
did.
perfectly.
This is a star of that movie.
Best actor.
And,
How much did the picture of the spoon get paid?
It got paid in exposure.
Exposure, basically.
yeah. So after like all this useless stuff, the only real important thing is the birthday party
There's a
that
party.
they host for Johnny. Yeah. Which in itself is, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but you know, I don't really find that you're hosting these huge birthday parties for like someone that's, I think he's supposed to be like 20, like what, 20 something, 22 in the movie.
Uh-huh.
He's older than that, I thought.
I don't
He
know how old he's supposed to
absolutely
be.
is older than that.
Well, yeah, he's older than that.
Like- No, like Johnny himself was supposed to be, not just the
Is he?
yeah.
Oh, that's weird then. Because remember, like Lisa, they've supposed to been together for like 5 years, and didn't they say she was really young?
They said 7 years later on. Like they were gonna go for 7 years. They kept changing.
Listen, math is hard. We're just gonna leave it at that.
But either way, like this birthday party goes on for like all night. It's crazy.
It is the most uncomfortable birthday party. I could not imagine being a guest at such a birthday party.
Yeah, so it's a lot more of the of useless stuff happening during this birthday party. But the main thing about it is the tension for the whole thing is seeing when Johnny's going to catch Lisa and Mark together, because they're being so.
They're
I don't
not
wanna
even
say
hiding
bold.
it. They are being
Yeah, like-
bold. Like they have. Like I am surprised that
Maybe-
this party is still happening when everybody knows that this dude is banging this dude's fiance, and they're like dancing and kissing each other. It's very
Even
strange.
Tommy's aware of it at this point.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
just-
he set up
he
his
had
recorder.
overheard the conversation between Lisa and her mother, and then he ended up
Oh, you're right.
tape-
Yeah, he bugged the phone.
he bugged the phone. He basically bugged like every room of his apartment.
Even though he brings it out to like get evidence, even though they've already told him. Like she's they keep going back and forth on this nonsense.
Dude, it goes
Yeah.
nowhere. That
I
tape
wonder
goes
why we're
nowhere.
confused. This movie's confusing.
Yeah, like she's already basically said, "I'm banging Mark," and Mark's like, "You're crazy, Johnny. How dare you be angry that I'm banging your fiance?" and then he's like, "It's okay. We can work it out, Lisa." It's like, what the fuck is happening? This is not how relationships work.
Yeah. So one of the things is when he does overhear, it's implied that like they can't see him, even though he's like maybe 15 feet away.
He's hiding behind the
It's
stairs.
not a big building. It's not.
Like there is no hiding. You can't like go around the corner. It's just a spiral staircase upward. He's just standing
I
there.
don't think it
He's
even
sitting-
leads
he's
to
like
a
in the
second
middle
of
room.
it,
I
though.
think it just leads to like an open loft above the main floor. Like I don't think there's another room up there.
Pretty sure it definitely does. I think it's like an open loft thing. Yeah.
There's a scene in the party where everybody leaves, and then Lisa's like, "You guys all go out to the to the veranda or the rooftop or something. And then she just hangs out with Mark, and they start like getting busy in the room. Like you saying they ain't bold. Like that's a lot. That's a lot of boldness.
I didn't want to say bold because I didn't think it was a strong enough word.
Oh, that's
like
fair.
I need something like she just didn't care. She honestly just didn't give a shit.
They were like aggressively hate fucking in front of Johnny.
Yeah, it's completely unwarranted how much she hates Johnny at this point. Like he has done no wrong, to be fair. Like he's done nothing bad.
And she's just been telling her friends like, I'm looking out for number one. She is so hateable. She's like, I want to do what I want to do with my life. And it's like, you don't even pay your own bills. What the fuck are you talking about? Like,
she had everything hated to her.
No, the thing is when she says like she says I want to do what I want with my life back to Mark, like way earlier when they had that first phone call, is right after she says I want to do whatever I want with my life. She pauses and just goes, "What should I do?" It's literally the next line.
Well, on top of that, Mark the whole time has like been, like we were saying, he was flip-flopping back and forth. You know, in the beginning, he's like, I would never do anything. Johnny's my best friend. And then he's like, hooks up with Lisa. And then he's like, I hate you, Lisa. Then he hooks up with her again. And he's like, we're gonna be together. Johnny's crazy for not wanting this. Like, Johnny's a terrible human being. He like fights him over it, physically fights him over it. And then he's still like hating on Lisa afterwards. Like, we're not gonna be together. Are you crazy? Like, the guy has no. He forgets what happened the day before.
A really weird scene.
They try to explain in the movie. They try to hand wave his like whole mood swings and everything. It's like, wasn't it marijuana, or was it just drugs in general?
No, he
was doing drugs at times. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't remember if it's drugs or just marijuana specifically.
Well, they never said any other drugs, so I'm just gonna say he was doing the weed and it was making him crazy.
What about the scene when him and Johnny are talking? And Johnny's like, you should find yourself your own girl. And he's like, yeah, maybe I will.
He was so angry about it. He was so upset.
Like, Johnny didn't know at this point. He was just trying to say, maybe if you find yourself a nice girl, you'll be happier. And then he gets all pissed off at Johnny for no reason.
As if he's like trying to flex on him or something. It's very strange. This
is where Johnny goes out there and is like, we're expecting. And that goes nowhere real fast.
Oh, that's because Lisa lied about it.
Oh, did she already say that?
Yeah, so Lisa lied. Because in like right after because her friend's asking her about it, like what the hell? So what's going on if you're gonna be with Mark or Johnny? Now you're having a kid. Apparently she was lying. She says, well, I'm gonna be having a child eventually at some point. So it's completely meaningless. Again, it goes nowhere.
It's just Lisa being terrible.
It really is.
At this point, there's some new guy who joins the cast who doesn't have a name. I believe
he does. He does.
Oh, he does.
His name is Steven.
Oh, well.
Oh shit.
I feel like he was added because Peter's not at the birthday party, and I feel like Peter left the cast and Steven got brought on
because Peter received a concussion during one of these scenes they were filming, but Tommy Wiseau wouldn't let him leave, and it ended up this whole walkout where like a bunch of the cast members left with the guy who played Peter because they wouldn't, because the dude had suffered a concussion, but Tommy Wiseau wouldn't let him leave the set.
Is that when he fell in the alleyway?
I believe.
Which I don't know.
That's why he doesn't show up.
He probably hit his head on that tiny fucking door they keep walking in and out.
He didn't miss much. Let's be honest.
That door is so small.
So they get in a fight, right? And then everybody leaves.
Yeah, at this point, Lisa just straight up tells Johnny with Mark that she's cheating on him. So Johnny and Mark start fighting, which basically is just them shoving each other, and all the party guests stop them. So this is nearing the end of the movie, because now Johnny's basically torn apart, heartbroken completely.
Tearing me apart.
He retreats from the birthday party, upstairs into the bathroom of the master bedroom, and basically locks himself in. Everyone leaves except for Lisa, including Mark. Mark leaves as well. And at this point, Lisa's trying to get him to get out of the bathroom, but you can tell she doesn't give a shit about him anymore. She's gone full, like, I hate you. You'd be better off dead. Again, for no reason. and
sucks.
And she starts rubbing just salt into the wound because she calls Mark, and she's speaking loudly too because she knows that Johnny can hear him. Basically saying that she wants to be with him, and they're gonna meet up, and they're gonna go sleep with each other again. And then that plot point from earlier where Johnny bugs the phones, that comes up. He grabs a cassette recorder and plays back the audio from that call. And at this point, he's livid and he's throwing shit and he's screaming. But Lisa doesn't give a shit. She just leaves.
There was that one edit that we had to rewind. I don't know if that's in the movie or not. But he is straight humping. What is that? He was humping like her dress or something.
Yeah, the dress that she was wearing at the beginning of the movie.
It's a nothing scene that may not even exist in the actual movie, but still.
The way that was cut,
I
swear that was the YouTube guy.
No,
I don't. Too good.
I think it literally is like a triple take shot. Like that wasn't edited by the guy.
Him just rubbing the dress on his balls.
I think it is. I think it's actually in the movie, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I'll have to do some research later. So then I guess Johnny pulls out a gun. Johnny got his gun, and
Yep. We get all these flashbacks of their relationship throughout the movie so far, which is just pillow fights, really.
I mean, you know, with that scene, I can see like what he was going for. You know, I can. Everybody has left him. His friends betrayed him. As he said, everybody betray me. His fiance betrayed it. You know, everybody just treated him like shit when he was just the nicest person to everybody. And so instead of anything else, he kills himself.
Yeah.
With the gun that they had acquired from when the drug dealer was.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yes.
Oh, so all of that was just to get a gun.
Why the drug scene is there is so they can get the gun for later.
Oh, sure, this is the same gun, isn't it?
Yep.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah,
That's the only reason that
He's
drug
a genius.
whole scene is in there. It's just because they need the gun for the end of the movie.
I've been
So it
bested
came
by
back.
White Sox.
It took too long to, or I think they were too far apart, really, to make that connection.
They never
easily.
had a scene where they like put the gun in the box. They just had there was a gun and then there wasn't a gun anymore. It never
in an
came up
unlocked
again.
box, like no gun safety here.
Well, I mean, they're two adults, and the only kid around is Denny, and he's an adult. So
You would trust Denny with that gun?
I wouldn't trust Denny with the key to my apartment, but they trust.
Denny also has his own apartment, but we never even see it.
No, well, it's the room, not the rooms.
Well, to be fair, it also is the room,
God
the
damn it.
rooftop, the alleyway.
It's not. It's just a big room. The whole world is one big room. Anyway, and then they're crying. You know, Lisa comes back. Mark comes back, and Mark, she's crying over Johnny, and then she's like, "Now we can be together, Mark." And he's like, "Bitch, get off me! Like, get out!"
It's like, what the
You toxic bitch! Get the fuck away from me!
And Denny shows up and gives. Oh, and then he kisses Tommy on the face, or Johnny. Mark kisses Johnny on the face.
like on the eyeball.
Oh, yeah, in a touching
That
moment.
honestly made me so angry. I'm just like, dude, fuck you.
After everything
like,
you
don't
did.
pull this shit after, like, right?
Night, sweet prince. Like, nah, you asshole. And then Denny cries and hugs Johnny, and then the police show up, and
They show up really fast.
yeah,
They do.
Like, because there's like some indescribable amount in unknown time between when Johnny shoots himself and when Lisa and Mark watch it.
They took the drug dealer to the police station, and they were only gone for 2 minutes. So maybe the police station really is next door, and that's when they showed up to the gunshot.
The police station just heard the gunshot.
Yeah,
Yeah. Loud
that
as hell.
siren was from inside the station.
And then the movie ends like shortly after that.
You think they drove over still, or did they walk?
Nah, it's San Francisco. You walk everywhere. Traffic sucks.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But yeah, that's the end of the movie. It's
it. Honestly,
a
like the
tragedy.
backstory behind the movie is more interesting than the movie itself.
It's because it's fucking
I-
nuts. It's
I
nuts,
do want to
dude.
bring something up here. In the original script, there was apparently a whole subplot about Johnny being a vampire.
Whoa,
Oh, that would have been good.
That would be
That would have
great.
been so good.
That would have been mad power. Where? I want the book. Where's the book?
Unpublished, sadly.
Tommy wanted Johnny to reveal his whole, or like reveal his whole vampiric nature by having Johnny Benz fly across the San Francisco skyline.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like he'd be a vampire. Yeah, I guess that 35 millimeter HD, only the 35 millimeter was used, so I guess
they did. Yeah.
Yeah,
But the
I
fact
guess
that
I
they
was
needed
wrong.
2 people to film for
Two
one
crews?
camera is
Oh, yeah.
hilarious. $6 million movie. I'm honestly baffled.
And they made what, $1,900 on its initial
Yep.
release?
Like,
It didn't even cover the cost of the single billboard that they had.
No, I don't understand how you spend that much money on this. It's crazy. Like, this could have been a home film. You could just record this on a single camera.
He could have bought
no
Bitcoin
issues.
and been a millionaire. And instead he
And like,
I guess he was a millionaire.
how
I
Tommy
guess
got
so.
the funding, like, no one really knows, right? There's like
No.
a few different series. Like,
he's very quiet about everything. Like, he doesn't like telling people where he's from or what his name or what his age is, or for, you know, I'm sure people know now, but he, like, for a long time nobody really knew where he was from or how old he was. Like, maybe he is a vampire.
You know, it sucks too. Like, a lot of work went into it. With that much money, like, apparently they made multiple sets for no reason, because you could just filmed on location. But they were making multiple sets. There was a whole soundtrack made for the movie, hour long, and this is how it turned out.
I like that. We noticed that while we were watching it too. Is every time Lisa had it, she'd just blabber on and on about her problems, and then someone would be like, "Well, what do you mean?" And she'd be like, "I don't want to talk about it." Okay.
Yeah, like,
She's completely unreasonable.
She's
honestly.
I do not. I forgot how much I did not like that character. I mean, it was, since you guys have never seen it, I mean, it's another one of those that's good to have in the repertoire, I guess.
It is. I'm not sad that I watched it or regretful for it. But I don't think it was as bad a movie as I was expecting. It was boring, but I've definitely seen much worse.
You know, and this is before Neil Breen was a thing. So
yeah,
that kind of
probably has to do with it. I kind of want to see Neil Breen and Tommy Wiseau do a collaboration. I want to see them make a movie together. I want to see what happens.
Buddy cop movie, buddy god movie.
Oh, it'd be so good. Be Tommy Wiseau as a vampire fighting the ex specialist hacker man that is Neil Breen.
Cyber Jesus Neil Breen versus Vampire Wiseau.
That'd be amazing.
Oh my god!
I need to see it. I have to see that. That'd be incredible.
I'm putting my money on Neil Breen.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He can jump into tall buildings and jump out of them the same way.
It'd just be one of those like kid fights where, oh yeah, well, if your character can do this, mine can do this.
And I have a bazooka blocking invisible shield.
Oh, that's what it would turn into. It'd be a cinematic masterpiece, honestly.
Bad special effects all around.
Were there? I don't even think there were special effects in the room.
No, I was more sort of feeling like referring to, Neil Breen's use of really shitty fucking effects.
What, you mean the rotating skull in the desert wasn't top of the line?
This is how slow the movie was. We immediately were like, let's just go watch Neil Breen movies again.
Pretty much. I guess the final question is like, do you guys think anyone should actually watch this?
After having you guys watch it, it's almost like if you've seen all the memes, you've pretty much seen the movie. Like,
yeah, I'm on the same boat.
Watch it.
I think the only reason you'd ever watch this movie if that was like your thing, if you were like, one of those like us who just really like watching really bad movies all the time. But if you want to watch something that's so bad it's good, I think Neil Breen's your go-to guy at this point.
I would say watch this and then watch Neil Breen, just so you can like compare the two and watch like the baby step. I mean, this and the other one we're going to discuss, Troll 2, are like, if you've seen bad movies, you're going to have to see these eventually. They've been talked to death, but it's you got to have it in your lexicon. It just has to be done.
Yeah. My main issue with The Room is it wasn't even that really entertaining bad. It's just bad.
Yeah.
Like,
it's almost
just
offensively boring at parts.
Yeah. It's not a fun sit through, to be honest with you. Definitely to watch it by yourself.
Yeah,
if you're
no.
gonna see this, bring a couple of friends and try to laugh at it together.
Years kind of matter. Like,
Yeah, for me, I would say don't watch this movie. I don't think it's worth it.
He said,
Let's see.
nah.
There's a reason like half of the plot happens in the last 20 minutes.
And go watch Roar again. That was a good one.
There you go. Go watch Roar. Roar was infinitely more entertaining.
And more stressful.
for worst reasons.
Throw Lisa in there.
Yeah, throw Lisa. Yeah, just Lisa in.
These
in
lions
the
are
Roar house.
so boring.
Oh,
Lisa
I
to
wanna
tell-
live my
I don't
life.
want to talk about it. It's Tsungar.
Tsungar don't want to talk about it either.
Togar's hungry.
Troll 2 is another one. Both of these movies have had documentaries made after them.
Oh yeah.
The documentary for Troll 2 I've actually seen, and it's cool because they don't just go through the movie. They like go way behind the scenes and show you some stuff that is just lovely. Like that scene of the director in his being filmed in the premiere, and like people laughing at his movie and him getting visibly frustrated and angry
Because they're laughing at the wrong parts.
because it's not. Yeah, they're laughing at how bad it is. He thought they were laughing at the audacious comedy he included.
Do you know who actually directed that documentary?
Who?
It's the
Neil
child
Breen.
star, Michael Stephenson.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the one who directed and wrote that was the child star himself.
Oh,
And the
damn.
name of his documentary is Best Worst Movie.
Yeah, best worst movie.
You guys should check it out if you haven't seen it. Troll 2 is a 1990 supernatural comedy horror film directed by Claudio Fragasso. Okay.
Say pseudonym.
Fragasso, under the pseudonym Drake Floyd.
That's much easier.
It is the sequel. I mean, the original Troll exists, but it is not the same kind of movie at all.
Because they originally produced Troll 2 under the name Goblins and conceived it as a horror film with elements of comedy.
It's fucking
The thing
weird.
is, like, the producers and distributors were skeptical about its being able to succeed, so they decided to release it as the sequel to the 1986 movie Troll, even though there are no trolls and it has no connection to that
Hey,
film.
there's goblins.
This is actually like a pretty common movie practice. They just released, not just released, but a few years ago they did, God, what was that movie where the monster comes down out of the sky and it's all handy cam footage?
Are you about Cloverfield? Or no?
Cloverfield, yeah, they had they released the Cloverfield Paradox, which originally was an entirely different movie, and they just spliced in some Cloverfield scenes.
Oh, is that what happened with that?
Yeah, and just to basically milk the Cloverfield name.
Ugh.
So
it's a
this
pretty-
movie gets a lot of flack for being like, one of the worst movies, like everything else we watch. To be honest, I actually really liked this movie.
If you don't like something, something entirely different is happening 5 minutes later. And it's on that level of like, why is the store only selling rotten milk? Why?
Why is everyone
There you say, imagine. What did you say soon? Imagine if you sent your friend out to get food and they came back with fucking.
So I do want to bring this up now is the reason, like, some of the dialogue and all of the struggles that this movie went through is because most of the dialogue is poorly translated from Italian.
Right, the Italians being
Because the
yeah.
cast members spoke English, but the crew members only spoke Italian. So there was a struggle of language barrier there. So that's why all of the dialogue is written really weird, is because it was written in Italian and then translated like literally to English. And so it ends up with some kind of funky dialogue.
It still
What
has some
are you, a homosexual?
dude. Troll 2 still has one of my favorite scenes in any bad movie.
Well, the thing about watching this movie, I was reminded so much of like those old Goosebumps movies and everything.
Yes,
Those kind of thing. I got such a feel for that. It was so nostalgic. I think that's part of the reason I like this movie a lot.
Ernest Scared Stupid or some shit like that.
Yeah, it really reminded me of that.
Yeah, Scared Straight.
But from a cinematic point of view, from a critique, this movie's absolute dog shit.
It absolutely is.
There's so much wrong with it, but it has such a fun time doing its thing. You can honestly watch this movie.
It's bad, but it's a fun watch. Like,
yeah,
there's always some dumb stuff. You're always kind of confused at what's happening. Even like right off the bat, you start out and Grandpa's telling this kid a story about goblins, because trolls aren't in the movie actually.
It's goblins.
It's goblins, and he tells him a story about how the goblins turned this, I don't know, prince or whatever, who's running through the field, and they fed him some green. Oh no, he's running from goblins, and then he runs into a lady who gives him some green goop to eat, makes him feel safe, and it turns out the green goop turns him into a plant, and then the goblins eat him, and she was also a goblin.
Yes, because all of the goblins are vegetarians.
They're vegetarians.
It's fucking dude, that is so weird. It's like we're gonna turn people into vegetables and eat them. It's like, oh, just go fucking eat that mushroom in the forest.
Well, and this is where the movie like kind of trips out, because it's like, all right, that was weird, and then Grandpa disappeared because Grandpa's actually dead and he's a ghost. Telling the kids and the parents are like, "Were you talking to Grandpa again?"
It's never explained on why they can talk to why.
Never even explains why they're being targeted.
No, so they're about to go on vacation. This family, there's the dad who's actually a dentist and not an actor. His wife, who puts on the worst faces for everything. The daughter, who's kind of a jackass, and then the son, who is a like vessel for Grandpa, who's the hero of the movie. Dead Grandpa does more than any of the living characters in these movies. The whole movie.
To be fair, Dead really Grandpa has a lot going for him.
That witch lady had a name. What the fuck? Sorry, read something.
She definitely has some teeth. That's for sure.
Oh gosh.
So they're about to go on vacation. The dad is he's really interested in like these family values. He's like, I want it to be like old times. We're going to get out of the city and we're going to go to the country, and they're doing some sort of home exchange where they go to somebody else's house and the family comes to their house and they just give them the keys and say, hey, run wild, do your thing. I've never heard of that before this movie or after. So
that sounds so strange. Like just the idea of trusting some random people with your house.
Maybe it was a different time. Maybe it's an Italian thing.
Maybe, I don't know. I've never heard of it being done here. But you must trust people a lot. You must have a heart of gold to be able to do that.
Oh yeah. And I guess the girl has a boyfriend, and she's angry at the boyfriend because he's always hanging out with the boys, and he's like, let me and the boys come with you, and she's like calling him all sorts of gay slurs, if I remember right.
Yep.
Yep. Are you a homosexual or something?
She's she's tired of his shit, and she's like, maybe I think she says to the dad, like, let's bring him with us and they'll meet us in the morning, and then they all leave and he never shows up. But
yeah, that confused me.
I was honestly really confused. Yeah, it was, that's the whole movie though. It's confusing from start to finish.
Because we find out that apparently, I guess his parents are rich or something, because he actually owns an RV, and he took him and his friends basically to the location ahead of them, but never actually said anything to her and let her know. So she's like crying in the car, thinking that he just straight up abandoned her, said, nah, I'm gonna hang out with the boys. When actually he's already there.
As they are traveling, and before they're traveling, Grandpa Seth, it will not shut up about goblins. Like, he is all about goblins are going to eat you and your family. He's been having the kid have dreams about it. In the dreams, everybody's turning bright green and turning into plants and shit. Like,
and Grandpa also finds like any situation he can to try to warn him, even if it puts the son in danger.
Yeah, doesn't he like pretend to be like a homeless guy or something?
Yeah,
hitchhiker.
Yeah, hitchhiker.
Yeah, the grandpa pretends to be a hitchhiker, and the kid's like, "Hey, Grandpa," and then he snaps out of it, and he's just being shaken by this homeless guy on the side of the road, and Dad's like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Down. Like the homeless guy's like, what's wrong with you?
Does he jump out of the car too, like while it's moving?
He sees Grandpa, so he basically tells them to like slow down and stop. He opens the door, runs out, and up to who he thinks is his grandpa.
They're vacationing in the town of Nilbog, which is a very tough mental puzzle. And Grandpa's like, "You don't eat anything. You guys are going to turn into plants, and the goblins are going to eat you."
Yep.
And they get to the house, and there's like a spread of food left for them by the family. Oh, they get to the house, and the family's like, they don't say anything to them. They just get in their truck and leave. As the dad's like, "Hey, we'll take care of your house and be fine." And they say nothing and leave, and he's like, "This is fine." And then they find all the food on the table. They're like, "This looks good. Let's start eating it." It's all green. The corn has like green toothpaste on it.
It looks like Play-Doh.
Green toothpaste.
Everything is coated with green shit, and they're like, "This is delicious." And the son has to save his family, and Grandpa uses his superpowers and stops time to give him time to figure out what he can do to save his family from eating the food. And as any normal person would do, he gets up on the table and just starts pissing all over the food. And
it works.
You only need to save my family.
it works. It absolutely works.
Is it here where the dad says like one of the greatest lines, or is it?
Oh yeah, it cuts to him dragging the kid out and throwing him in the bed, and he tells me, "I won't have you pissing on hospitality." And he's like,
"It's not hospitality. I won't allow it.
I won't allow it." And he's like taking off his belt, and he's like, "What are you gonna do to me, Dad?" He's like, "I'm gonna put another notch in my belt loop so I won't have to feel these hunger pains from starving." It's like, oh, I thought you were gonna beat that kid.
Yeah, so at this point, you basically realize like any of the food that they eat will make them goblins supposedly. And
Yeah, it makes them into vegetables.
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah,
Vegetable
it'll
goop.
turn them into vegetables,
which the goblins will then eat.
And I can't believe how long they go without eating.
Yeah,
It's like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
yeah, and like none of them are complaining about it either. Like, "Oh, I'm so hungry." No, none of that. They're just chilling. Like they don't care.
Yeah,
it's almost like they kind of forgot. Like, oh yeah, these we haven't eaten in 3 days.
And then the kid starts. And so that scene just ends, and we cut to the daughter's boyfriend and the boys, and they've taken an RV. They get in their RV, and they're kind of following them to Nilbog.
Fucking Nilbog.
At this part, I think I got up to go do something. Oh, I was cooking. I was cooking while we were watching this, so I'm kind of in and out at this point.
Yeah, so we kind of follow more of the boys with the boyfriend. And I think they're just outside of town because the RV that they have is set up on the side of a road near a forest. And I think that's just outside of the town of Nilbog. And at some point, one of them goes to, I think they go get some food.
No, he
goes out for a walk.
He goes out for a smoke.
He goes out for a walk.
He goes out for a smoke.
He remembers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He goes out for a smoke.
And he sees a girl being chased, and he runs to go help her, and he finds all these goblins. And the most ridiculous scene, he sees all these, there's like 12 goblins, and they're holding like these metal spears and everything.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I guess he's trying to like show off to the girl or something. I'm not really sure because he just like, he walks up to them, just swaggers up to them and is like, "All right, now all of you listen here," and then they basically just stab him with a spear.
Yeah, they throw it at him.
And he just starts screaming.
It's embedded in his shoulder.
He's just like, "Ah!" And they drag him to a house out in the woods, and he is. And they take the girl too. They capture both of them. And
that's right. And they encounter the witch, and he's like, "Help us!" And she's like, "Oh, I'll help you." And she got some jacked up teeth. It's like hard to look away at anything else. For me, at least, yeah. I was all focused on those teeth.
I was focused on it too. It was gross.
Painted black. brown, and it's gross.
She says making facial expressions that would be out of line with like those 500% facial expression videos,
Oh my
or like
God.
heavy rain or something. It's so
Dude, it's like a
super
fucking
over
Power Rangers
exaggerated.
villain.
I don't even know if that's enough to describe
was-
how over exaggerated they were.
It was pretty wild. It was like a cartoon character.
Yeah, she also has she's trying to do some weird accent. I don't know what the accent was supposed to be, but it's clearly not working.
Scandinavian, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
She's supposed to be like a druid witch, so
Yeah,
She was going hard. That's all I
She-
know.
she
Like
was
everybody
trying.
else was pretty mellow, pretty
Yeah.
grounded, and she was like, she was a walking cartoon.
pretty much. So she
doesn't she give him food and water and stuff?
Did they
makes
ever-
them drink this thing? Like there's smoke coming off of these two cups, and she's like, "Here, drink this. It'll make you feel better."
Broth, I think.
Yeah,
Is that what it was
I guess it's
described?
supposed to be some kind of broth or something. And for some reason they drink it.
That's the thing. The whole movie, they're like, they keep giving people this disgusting looking food, and they're like, "Yeah, this looks good. I'll have a bite." And it's
yeah.
like, no, nobody.
Makes me
knows.
wonder, is it supposed to be like maybe they see it normally, but like the viewer sees it as green? I don't fucking know.
Well, they never
Because
told
like
us
there's
that.
no way.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like there's not steam coming off of these cups. It's legit smoke. Like this looks like acid or something that
It's
she's
a cup of
handing
dry
them.
ice.
Yeah, like and they drink it. And they basically start falling to the floor immediately and just start coughing, trying to spit.
Well, that
Spit up
girl does.
whatever
Arnold
it is.
doesn't drink it.
Yeah,
He
they drag the
does.
girl upstairs. She starts falling, and then the goblins come and drag the girl upstairs.
Yeah.
Um,
And
She
then we
just
see
kind of turns into vegetable like soup.
Vegetable
on the
matter.
floor.
Goo.
And
basically
then,
kind of turns to jelly.
My favorite fucking scene though comes out of that.
is he planted in the ground yet? I think he's in a pot at
No,
this point.
it's the scene where he goes, "They're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me." Oh,
Oh
my
my
god!
It's
and he's just
fantastic.
dead faced the whole time, and it's so
Yeah.
monotone. Oh my god!
Is the best.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and then for whatever reason, he gets turned into a tree. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, he doesn't get
The
turned
druid
into a
does it.
plant like everybody else and immediately eaten. He gets turned into a tree, which he sticks in a pot. He's like a human from the waist up, except covered in green shit, and then everything else is a tree stump.
His plant parts are like chewy looking too.
And I will say the one thing I do love about this movie is the costumes and everything, and the makeup is done so good. It's done so well. I can appreciate it.
It was very you guys know Giallo? Old Italian horror films.
Nope.
Okay, so old Italian horror
Doesn't exactly
films.
ring a bell.
They call them Giallo films. I don't know. I think that was the director of a lot of them, but he made like Zombie and all these. They're obviously horribly acted, but all the makeup is like disgusting to look at. Like, have you seen Dead Alive? It's along those lines of
Yeah.
intestines being pulled out and stuff you
Oh,
just
God.
weren't seeing at the time. But this is very reminiscent of that, where things just look gross all the time. From like the lady's teeth and her makeup to the plant stuff and just shit dripping all over the place. It's much like
It's in
that.
top-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's top notch stuff. I was honestly very impressed with it from a movie that's said to be so bad. They did really good with it.
It was entertaining in that way. Like, it was fun to look at, if nothing else.
Yeah. It's definitely worth watching just to see it. And I think that's pretty much it for them. He just kind of just chills in the house for a while as a tree. We get back to him eventually, but
And you can't really go anywhere.
yeah, he's kind of chilling.
His legs are now tree trunk.
So at this point, night passes. We're back to the morning, and we return back to the original family. And they realize that there's no food in the house whatsoever. All they really have is a jug of milk, and they realize that the milk is spoiled. Something's wrong with it, because when they pour it out, it's just all chunky and gross looking.
Makes me wonder why was there milk in the house in the first place? If everybody in the town of Nilbog is a disgusting goblin,
Is goblin milk?
was it goblin milk? I would
I
expect it
guess.
to be green.
Maybe.
Who's got cows? Who's actually farming out there?
Yeah, I don't know what it was actually supposed to be because we see it multiple times. It just looks like spoiled milk, but basically there's no food at all in the house. So they need to go into town and go buy some stuff.
The Wikipedia just calls it poisonous nilbog milk.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. So they go into town, and I think we follow Joshua, the kid, and he kind of wanders off into the, I think it's a church, right? And they find him performing like some kind of sermon or mass where they're talking about the like how eating meat is bad and how terrible it is, and they're just like going ew, bacon, ew, ham. It's hilarious. But he drops his skateboard or something, and they're able to find him hiding and watching. And they're trying to feed him some of that milk, which I think they said it's supposed to be ice cream, but
it was actual ice cream. They were trying to feed him poison ice cream.
Yeah. So, but the father finds him, and basically all the townsfolk that are there back off, and they head back home. I think they head back home, right? They don't actually end up buying any food. They just came there for nothing. Am I wrong in that? I don't think they actually bought anything, did they?
I don't. Well, because they never eat anything for the rest of the movie. So.
Yeah. The Josh and his dad.
They just left. He's like, this is some weird shit. Let's go home.
The general store was like closed.
That's right. We were talking about the 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was closed. I forgot.
Yeah, back in 20 minutes.
Yeah, the back in 20 minutes side.
From now.
For a win.
So after that, then we return back to the boys, right? Because now, what's his face is still gone, but they're just like
Arnold
whatever.
is gone, and I think Drew is the one who ends up going next.
He has to go
get food.
And they never mention Arnold like at all. Like he's been gone for legit a whole day. This is the next day at this point, and he's still not back.
Yeah, for boys who are so tight with each other, they really don't give a fuck about each other.
Right? They legit forgot he existed.
Arnold went out for a smoke and never came back.
I mean, it
sounds like a dad.
Later on, when certain things happen in the RV, the dude left, never even mentions the fact that his friends have been gone for a long time.
Right?
He's just sitting there watching TV.
And so
he's hanging out with the rest of the boys.
Drew's like trying to walk to town. Why didn't they just drive to town either? Was something wrong with the RV? Who knows?
No,
he just decides to walk.
And the sheriff, like some sheriff, picks him up. And
sheriff.
He's like, "Here's a hamburger," and it's a disgusting hamburger.
It's a green hamburger.
At least it got real bread on it.
I don't remember if he ate it or not, but
I think he takes a bite out of it.
Oh, does he? Yeah, because he's sweating green later.
Yeah.
Wait, no, he eats like the whole thing.
Does he? Oh, yeah. This is that thing, man. It doesn't. None of it is appetizing. Like it's not. It's like, you ever seen green ketchup in the store and they're like, yeah, kids love it. It's like, no, nobody likes that. Put it
Not
away.
only that, man, but the burger he gave him had like it was just a patty.
There's nothing on it. And he ends up making it to town through the drive, and he gets to the store, and all the store has is dirty milk.
It's nothing but milk.
It's nothing but milk. There's a milk fetish going on in this town.
And it's not refrigerated or anything. It's just left out the counter.
Well, to be fair, if it's not pasteurized, I don't think it has to be refrigerated, right?
I don't know, but
I'm no milk expert. I couldn't tell you.
I think it'll go a bit fast regardless. Sorry.
That's true.
I wouldn't trust it anyway.
Right? Like I'd be a little iffy about it.
No,
well, he buys it, like he gives it to him for free, so he just takes it, and then the greatest thing is he just tries to come back, which is hilarious because he just like left to go get food, and his plan is just to come back with like not even a full gallon of milk. But before he can, he's like confronted by a bunch of the townsfolk who tell him to
Arnold's waiting
to
for him
go
at the
to
chapel.
a church.
Yeah, the chapel.
Yeah. Because they have like a party or something.
No, it was they told him Arnold's waiting.
Yeah, Arnold's waiting for him at the chapel. is what they do.
Yeah, that's
They're all
right.
just staring at him too. Like they don't say it right away. They stare at him for a good 20, 30 seconds before anyone says anything.
It's only when he comes back out they say anything.
And he finally gets there. This is where the witch is, and he finds Arnold, who's now a tree, and he tries to save him. He like rips off the bark that is over his mouth.
I just like that Arnold's sitting there like, drag me over here. Come on, drag me. He's stuck in a pot.
He's dragging the pot that he's in, just like, hey, you're so heavy. He's huffing and puffing, trying to get him to move.
What's even weirder is how like when he rips the bark off, Arnold like spits out blood and he's just like, whatever.
I think it was coming out of the tree. I don't think it was his.
No, he spits it out. Like,
he spits it out.
Well, there's something else where, the witch comes back and then she got a chainsaw. And then she like starts chopping up Arnold, like they're not showing it, but that's what's happening. And Arnold starts laughing. Like there's no pain in his face. There's no like, so I just figured since he's a tree, he doesn't hurt. Even though I don't know if I'm assuming trees.
Apparently Drew's just killed off screen.
Yeah, that's the last time.
Yeah, you never see him again. And that's the end of Arnold as well.
Yeah, I don't understand why they killed Arnold or why they turned him into a tree. I didn't really,
maybe some people are like salad, and then like if you wait and like turn them into a tree, they turn into steak. If you're vegetarian.
It seems like the men who are fed poisoned food turn into trees, while women turn into soup.
Oh, look at you!
Because like 3 or 4 people we see that happen to, that's what happens.
That's true.
Yeah, because in the dream that he has on the way there, Joshua turns into a tree, Arnold's turned into a tree, the woman's turned into soup.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And there's another woman later that we also see.
Yep.
Okay. Problem solved. Men are trees.
We figured it out.
It's phallic symbol.
Okay, sure. And then after this is the party. Yeah, that's part.
That's right. The townspeople are like, "We're sorry we weirded you out. We threw a party for you. A totally not weird party."
The family's so done. Like they just want to leave.
Except the dad. The dad is still totally interested in farming and whatever the fuck he's talking about.
He's suspicious at this point.
He's like,
he gets like weird looks on his face. He's like, "What the fuck?" And
then he doesn't do anything about it. He's just like, "Huh." Okay.
That's the weird part.
He's too hungry to be concerned.
Okay, you know what? Right. This is another movie where we're adding in things that weren't told to us. All right, they're too hungry. Okay, I can get behind that.
Fair. What? He's like over 2 days at this point.
What are we supposed to figure out, man? We can only guess.
Well, the funny part is too, like we haven't seen the family actually do anything.
No. Did they already go to the
sitting in the house?
Did they already
They've basically been harassed by the townspeople? That's it.
Did they go to the town and the kid was like, "Goblin is Nilbog backwards"?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Yeah. He sees the town sign in a mirror, even though this town sign looks like Goblin.
Yeah, no, dude, that G is a C in most scenes until they need it to be a G.
But they throw a party for the family in the house that they're staying at, to apologize for like weirding them out at the church where the dad found Joshua.
It's fun too.
I missed it, but did they just show up and the party's already happening in the house they're staring at?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Basically,
cool. Gotcha. That's normal.
And it's really strange because they're just kind of all sitting in the middle of the room. Joshua retreats to his own room because he doesn't want to be there. He gets it now. He understands what's going on. But everyone else, including the boyfriend, is there too. They're just sitting in the middle of the room with all these people, like just trying to feed them stuff. Like they're not at a table or anything. They're just sitting in chairs and they're looking around just like at all these people just clearly weirded out. And Joshua is looking at the mirror in his room, trying to contact his grandpa Seth.
The one time grandpa doesn't show up.
Yeah.
No, he does. But he shows up.
Yeah, instead of his grandpa, like we were expecting, instead a goblin comes through. He bursts through the mirror.
It's actually the witch.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's the
learned
witch
that
and
the
goblin
goblin was actually the witch and goblin form. But the goblin attacks Joshua and he's like trying to fight him. And that's when Grandpa Seth shows up with an axe and chops off the goblin's hand. And then the goblin like rewinds time and comes back through the mirror.
None of this shit is really explained, by the way. These are just like, this happened, and then this happens, and then Ghost Grandpa had an axe, and then goblins have time powers.
Yeah. So, and then it cuts back to the house with the witch, and we see her like holding her wrist because her hand's gone, and that's how we learn. Oh, that's her in goblin form, whatever that means.
Oh yeah.
And then we get this scene where she like is in front of this big stone, and she refers to it as the Stonehenge Magic Stone. It's like glowing. There's smoke coming off of it or whatever, and she does this weird thing. Like she's just standing in front of it, saying, "Oh, grant me your power, powerful rock."
I don't think this stone has been mentioned. Like.
Yeah,
at all.
It's just kind of been chilling. We've seen it, but they haven't really talked about it.
It's the kind of thing you think Grandpa would have mentioned in his many rantings about goblins. Like, if you see a stone,
yeah,
that's where they get their power.
And she uses the stone to get rid of her herpes and fix her skin. Because now her skin looks perfectly fine, and like she looks normal now, and her hand is back.
She's become mildly attractive. The superpower of the stone made her not fucked up.
For like the most pointless fucking thing. Like,
and
That's
she
right.
does. I don't remember if this happens first or if we're still at the party.
Scene order was I don't know, but after she transforms, she like directly goes to that RV.
Yeah, it shows you get back to the RV, and Brent, I'm seeing, these names are all negligible in the movie.
Probably dude bro names.
Fucking Brent's just sitting in the RV by himself. Like all of his friends are gone, and they've been gone for like 2 days.
2 days, and he doesn't give a fuck.
The family at this point, right?
What's up?
Elliot's
I think
family.
Yeah. He's with the family. He's in that circle.
Yeah, he's just there now. He's made his way to the family. He knew what house.
I
they were
honestly
at and
don't
everything.
remember when he
I
joined
don't either.
them.
I don't think it was ever like a thing that happened. I think
It did. It's when fucking the sister went to their RV, and then they caught her talking to him, and then like he just came back.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that when she
reason.
smacks him for like no reason? Is that where she smacks him for basically no reason? She like punches him in the face.
Yeah, she like straight up punches him. Just he goes flying too.
He goes down.
She's a very powerful young woman. And then the woman like starts. She's watching a TV inside the RV. The TV bugs out, and the quote unquote attractive witch like starts skipping up to the RV and dancing strangely, and she's got corn. She got pocket corn. She came equipped with pocket corn.
She's got a cob of corn on the cob, and she's like trying to be all seductive with it. It is the strangest shit, but it is so funny.
She's even got a holster for it too.
Dude, I love the Wikipedia description where she seduces Brent and drowns him in popcorn.
Yeah, so she like gets invited into the trailer, and they're trying to have like some weird like makeout scene where she sticks the corn in his mouth. He's chewing on one side, and then she's chewing on the other, and they're just on the bed.
Just like his friends disappearing, he's totally accepting of everything that's happening right now. He's on board.
And then popcorn just starts popping out of nowhere and just
so
flooding the entire RV.
It's so hot in that RV.
And like keep in mind he's fine too. Like at some point she just kind of leaves, and he's just like, there's too much popcorn, and he's just trying to like swim out of the popcorn.
Spits it out. Yeah, he spits some of it out, and then like that's the last we see of him. And now that I'm thinking about it, it's like the last time we see the RV.
Yeah. That's the end of
The
Bois.
RV's left there.
Brent survives the popcorn, I'm assuming. I don't know. Maybe he didn't make it out of there, but
No, imagine the person just come out of the RV, just opens up. There's a shit ton of popcorn and a fucking tree in there.
Oh, it's just the indoor popcorn tree. I've heard of these.
Damn it, not again.
I'm gonna explain.
And not like a small amount of popcorn, like 70% of the RV is buried in popcorn.
Yeah, it's like flooded.
So after that, we return to the party, and Seth and Josh are like trying to come up with a plan. They got to save the family from all these goblins. So Seth's like,
so good.
"Here, Joshua, use this to cause a distraction," and hands him a fucking Molotov. And Josh is like, "I got you, Grandpa. I got this."
Oh, my boy. Start some fires.
Well, no, and then the priest comes, right?
Yeah.
And he like he snatches
my
it, and then he
God.
tells Grandpa, he's like, "I'm sending you back to hell." So Grandpa's been in hell the whole time, from what I
What's weird
understand.
is Joshua looks at me like, "Grandpa, you're in hell," and he's like, "No." And then he just gets sent to hell.
Yeah.
But before he can disappear, before he gets banished to the hellscape, he calls down lightning onto the Molotov that's thrown at the priest, and the priest erupts into flames and is and burns to death. And at this point, like, everyone heard the thing, they hear the priest screaming, so everyone comes outside and they see the body, and instead of normal human corpse,
the dad came out and. Oh no, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
no,
then
he
the
comes
dad
out with a
comes
fire
out,
extinguisher.
and he puts out the corpse, and immediately everybody's like, "Hey, you did this. You set him on fire." Even though he's
well, that's not the
obviously
only
a goblin.
thing.
Huh.
Is the corpse was actually a goblin. It wasn't a human corpse. It was a goblin corpse.
His true form showed after he died.
Yeah. So that's when the family's like, "Oh, wait a minute, something ain't right."
What the fuck is that?
And now the jig is up. Everyone knows that they know. They have the critical information. So now the family's scared, and they retreat back into the house and lock all the doors.
Now,
And
the goblins, like, some of the goblins are cops. Like, they have guns. Like,
yeah.
and instead they just let him go into the house, and like they throw like a sack lunch at the door.
It's like, it'll be much easier on you if you eat this than us having to violently kill you.
Bag of trash. Here, that's your food. Eat this, and we're just gonna wait outside until you do.
Well, what's great too is, like, there's only 5 members of this family, I think, right? There's only 5 of them. And there's like
including
12.
Elliot. Including
Yeah,
Elliot.
with
Yeah,
Elliot,
including
yeah.
Elliot.
Well, and Seth, so
And-
6.
And there's like 20, 30 people here. And they just kind of watch this family that they've already surrounded just walk into the house and lock the door. Like, they just watch them do that for no reason. Like, they could have easily just done the thing that they did with Arnold and the girl and just fed them, the goop. But they just have to draw it out, I guess. It's very weird.
The goop.
The green goo. And then I don't remember this part, but I guess they hold a seance to talk to Seth.
Yep.
Yeah, to communicate
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, to summon him. And I think they get 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes ready to go back to the
Now
episode.
there's like a timer, like, just everything is so like ambiguous.
Arbitrary.
It's like, why is there now 10 minutes? Why does he have lightning powers? Why does he have a Molotov in hell? Like, why anything?
But
None of it is really explained.
He,
Oh, and then he
he's
gives- yeah.
able to. Yeah, he's able to summon Seth, and Seth brings him to the witch's house. He like teleports him.
No, the goblins.
The
I think,
goblins
are
do
the
that.
the one who teleports him. I think the witch teleports. But before this happens, he's given the
Secret weapon.
Yeah,
like
the bag.
Grandpa hands him a bag and says, "Only
Another
open
paper
this when
sack.
you,
The dumbest fucking weapon
only
ever.
when you need it."
You'll know. And they get
And then
back
he
to
gets
the house.
teleported.
I don't know what happens to the family at this point, because suddenly Joshua's like
Ah.
surrounded by goblins.
Well, Seth and Joshua
that's right.
are at the chapel. They're at the witch's place, and they're at the stone. And apparently, the stone is like the source of the goblins' power, which whatever that means. And they're trying to like banish the magic or the energy of the stone by just placing their hand on it and believing. That's literally it. Like, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the witch can sense this, and she starts screaming. All the goblins can tell too, and they all teleport back to the chapel, like in
Because
front of the
they
family.
were chasing the family, and then they're like,
Yeah.
"Our queen calls us."
Yeah, so they all teleport and back to there. Uh, and Joshua, he's surrounded by all these goblins, and he's like, I know what I need to do. I need to use the secret weapon. And he reaches into the bag, and in there is a double-decker bologna sandwich.
It's not even like a good-looking sandwich. It is two pieces of bread on like 15 pieces of bologna.
I think it's literally the sandwich from the RV, like when they were heading down. So it's like a 2-day, 3-day-old sandwich in a bag by Grandpa.
He's so excited too. He's like, "Oh my god, it's a double-decker bologna sandwich." He's not like, "Why the fuck did my grandpa give me a bologna
Last
sandwich?"
time you gave me a Molotov. What the fuck is this?
Dude, I love what the witch says. She's like, think of the cholesterol.
And she's trying to convince him not to eat it. All the toxins.
He starts eating it, and they start freaking out and dying on the spot, I guess.
Apparently, it makes his body poisonous to them.
Yeah, and then like at some point during that like whole scene, Joshua's family arrives at the chapel.
Yeah, they're just there. They just show up.
And he's
I don't know how they knew.
Yeah. And after making his body poisonous, he like he tells them all to touch the stone, right?
And believe.
Concentrate.
It's like the power of goodness is what destroys the goblin.
The power of goodness, I forgot.
Another like MacGuffin thing that has no backstory to it. Like it's just constant nonsense.
It's so ridiculous, but it works. I mean, it destroys all the goblins and the witch. And
almost all the goblins.
Hey, spoilers.
Don't want to be spoiled for Troll 2.
1990s movie, this 31-year-old movie, just in case.
But yeah, everything's been solved. They're all fine. Some of them are dead, but that's okay. They all return home.
No one checks that Drew or Brent.
Yeah, fuck Drew. Fuck Brent.
Brent's
just still chilling in all that popcorn.
He's having a popcorn cub.
He got food for days.
Yeah, he's just gonna take that. Take that RV and go on a road trip. He's like, "This is my life now." Popcorn RV, man. I got this.
I can't leave.
Elliot's gonna have some trouble explaining what happened.
Where's your boys?
Where's the RV?
But they return home. I guess Joshua and his mother stayed home, but the father takes his daughter and Elliot back to his house to take him back home. So it's just Joshua and his mother. His mom starts eating an apple from the fridge that she took, and then Joshua says he's gonna go take a shower.
There's no mention of the family that was staying in their house, and she's just gonna go into their house after seeing everything she's seen.
Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna take a bite of this food that was left here by that family.
Yeah, he goes off and he says, "I'm gonna go take a nap." I'm gonna go take a nap.
Well, the thing is, that family never left.
Yeah, it's supposed to be inferred that those goblins.
Because the family sees them at the church gathering.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Remember?
Okay.
Wait, were you supposed to be at our house? We had car trouble.
I didn't see that. So then, who brought the apples?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be suggested that they went all the way there and just came back. Well, like they can teleport, so I guess it's possible.
Who knows? Who cares? Just keep going.
But it turns out that they poisoned all the food in their house. So when the mother ate the apple, she turned into goo. Joshua finds her, and she's on the kitchen counter, and there's a bunch of goblins eating her, and he just starts screaming. And that's
they offer a bite.
Yeah, the goblin offers him if he wants a bite of his mother.
Oh, you want some? Yeah. and he just starts screaming, and that's the end of the movie. It's another tragic ending, just like The Room.
I like bad endings to movies.
Apparently, there's a Troll 3.
There's a couple.
God, no.
And it features a hobgoblin.
Yeah, none of them have anything to do with the other ones. It
They're
is
all
not
just
a real
random.
series.
This movie, trying to explain this is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. It's completely nonsensical, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun to watch.
It's like, you ever hear a kid tell a story and they just make things up as they go along?
It was kind of like that, yeah.
Just and then it's an and then movie. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then.
Mm-hmm.
And
The
also,
thing is, like, nothing's explained, like, the reasons why things happen in this movie. They just happen, and and there's no explanation. Grandpa comes back half a dozen times. It's never explained why.
no, it's great though. I love it. Like it's bad, but it's the entertaining kind of bad that I enjoy in some of these really bad movies. It's what The Room lacks. It's the reason why I say don't watch that movie. Where Troll 2, honestly worth a watch. Obviously, don't watch by yourself. You're not gonna have fun. But
No, Troll 2 was, like I said, infinitely more entertaining than The Room. And I've seen both these movies before, long time ago, and this one I had way more fun with the second time around.
yeah, and the poor director, because this movie obviously did not do well, and we said it before. There's a documentary about this movie where the director is in a movie theater where this is debuting, and he's like gauging the audience's reaction. And he's getting really mad because they're laughing at parts that they should not be laughing at because they're just terrible.
I just can't believe he went into like this screening and nobody's like being, quiet about why they like the movie. He just went and sat down and was like, they love my movie. They loved it for all the wrong reasons. And he was so hurt.
Apparently nowadays he's glad that it had the impression it's had on viewers.
Of course. What are you gonna do? Be angry about it your whole life? Like,
I mean, I feel like certain directors totally would be mad.
there are like, who's that guy who does all the video game movies? God,
It's not Uebo, is it?
it is
Is it Uebo? Okay.
Uebo, who's like, my movies are great. You're fucking wrong. I'll fight you in a boxing ring if you think otherwise.
We gotta watch a video game movie at some point. That'd be amazing. One of the Resident Evils.
They're bad. We can find something. I mean, if we want to watch like
the animated Resident Evils or the
live action, I think would be
the
better.
live action,
both of
I
them
think those would
for
be
different
better.
reasons.
I felt somebody was talking to me on stream about the live action ones, and they were like, "I love them," and I'm like,
The first one was all right.
"It was an actual movie. The rest of them, are, very
There's
interesting.
something.
There's something. That's right."
But to be fair, the third animated Resident Evil movie has the scene of Chris and the movie villain fighting on the rooftops with pistols, the pistol duel.
Was it the one that you showed me the other night where they're just shooting at each other's feet from like 2
dude,
feet away, spinning around in
they're running
circles?
around in circles.
Gun kata.
Like 50 seconds long.
It's so good.
ridiculous.
It's so good.
Yeah, because those movies have simultaneously some great scenes and some hysterical scenes for the wrong reasons.
I would definitely, like I said, this one I enjoyed a lot more than I expected to, even after seeing it a second time.
Yeah.
It just has so much going on that is, I mean, if you're trying to like watch a good movie, this ain't it. But if you're looking for an entertaining movie, this is I might even say, like, if you want to watch it alone, it might be worth it. Just to sit there with your mouth open going, what the fuck?
Like it reminds me so much of freaking Goosebumps. Like, Say Cheese and Die, like all those little short stories, those little horror ones. It reminds me so much of it, and I actually love it because of that. It's so nostalgic. And it's honestly so fun to watch. As bad as it is, like it's very easy to ignore and just kind of sit back and laugh at. Which is always like a good thing. That's the issue with The Room, is that it's just boring and it's hard to do that. With this one, you can definitely just sit back, watch the movie, and just have a good time. It is bad. It's written terribly. The dialogue's terrible. But the actual feel and theme of the movie is just too much fun to really hold a grudge against it.
The all the effects work is disgusting looking. And you can like miss an entire 10 or 15 minutes, come back, and you'll have just as much idea of what's going on as anybody else.
Yeah, you proved that theory.
Yeah,
I just love the fact that there's
road.
no trolls at all in the movie, but it's called Troll 2.
They're not.
It's such an oversight.
Man,
Like,
I'm just
They could have easily just renamed them to trolls instead of goblins, but I guess they just needed the Nilbog thing, like that plot twist. It had to be in there.
It had to be. Yeah, it's no movie without Nilbog.
Exaggeration calling it a plot twist.
That was the other thing. Like the sets are kind of like they did go to a real town. Like there's no actual sets. Like they are in a house and in a town and in the forest and in a chapel, and maybe the chapel's a set, but
and there's some production value.
Yeah, there's a lot of production value for something that's so bad. Not if you told me they spent $6 million on this and $6 million on The Room, and I had to pick which one cost an actual $6 million, there's no way in hell I'd think The Room was it.
Yeah, you could have filmed that on just
a handy
home camera
in a room,
honestly,
with strangers and no script.
It's basically what ended up happening.
It would come out pretty much the same.
My vote for better movie, definitely Troll 2.
Oh, I like that idea.
Same as me.
Better movie.
I think it's around the board. This is about, unless Soon got mad room love.
Well, I like them both, but like Troll 2 is more fun to watch. That's for sure.
The Room earns its title as the worst movie ever made.
It was from that age of like I want to say like the Never-Ending Story, where it just like there was all kinds of stuff to look at in a single shot.
Yeah.
The Room doesn't have that. Not at all.
What came out first, The Room or Troll 2? Oh,
Troll 2.
Troll 2 did actually.
Troll 2.
13 years ahead of it. It's from 1990. Room is from 2003.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, because honestly, Troll 2 is just, it even looks better. Like it just straight looks better.
Yeah, the camera
I can't believe
shots
there's such a time difference.
The Room had some unflattering camera angles.
For sure.
It's always that. Like,
Any camera angle on Tommy Wiseau is not flattering.
well, I mean, because like most of it is, if it's like of the different like 4 or 5 different rooms we have in the room, the camera's always spaced from the same place, basically.
Hell yeah.
Like from the room, it's like, or from like the main room with the couch, it's always across from the door and the couch.
Well, I think it's just the difference that the cinematographer for Troll 2 clearly had an idea of what he was doing. Or in The Room, it's just like, we're just going to splice up a bunch of like still camera angles.
Yeah, because the camera never really moves in The Room, does it?
No, it's just
it just kind of
Wiseau.
pans.
It's just him. It's the same problem with Neil Breen, where it's just one like the Troll 2 had a cast and a production team. Although, you know, if obviously the director has final say, like they had a cinematographer. The Room and Neil Breen movies just have the one guy thinking he can do it all. And don't get me wrong, I applaud the amount of work that goes into that, but it's also like what happened with the Star Wars movies, where so there's got to be checks and balances. You know, somebody's got to be able to be like, hey.
Oh no, you brought up Star Wars. That's not good.
No.
I hate the prequels just like everybody else. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I like the prequels.
Well, you grew up with them, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's why you had a bad childhood. I get it.
Nah, the sequels I hate, honestly. I can understand the prequel. We're not getting to Star Wars. No, I'll go on a rant for like another hour.
I'm not cutting this off now.
It's gonna happen.
Fine. So we've decided to move on to somebody selecting a movie, and then we'll also select something else. We don't have an idea for that something else, but I think Strider, you had a movie you wanted to check out next week.
Possibly.
What do you think of?
I don't know yet, because I don't know if I'm going to be here next week.
Oh.
Because I might be gone. It's going to be up in the air. I'll basically let you know this Saturday.
Okay.
I think we should do Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
I don't have... You know what? Never mind. I could use a nap.
I still want to see Freddy Got Fingered.
We do have to watch that.
That's right.
Week.
Freddy Got Fingered,
we'll watch that
the
for
Tom
sure.
Green masterpiece that I'm afraid to watch, because when I saw that in theaters when it came out, it was like the top of comedy. It was the height, the pinnacle. And now it's like every annoying random TikToker just for 2 hours. And I don't know if I can handle that anymore.
I can't wait. I have no idea about anything about that movie, and I want to see it. I already want to see
I'm not
it.
looking up anything about it anymore. I'm just gonna let it. I'm gonna remember the scenes as they come, and hope I can still remember Tom Green in a good light.
You'll be
so pumped to fucking
forever,
watch it.
forever a dark mark on your thoughts about him. Like, oh god, he was in that movie though.
Jeez. And it's all him. Like, that is his movie. That is I can do. MTV gave me the money to do whatever I wanted to do, and this is what I did.
So who he really is.
I guess, man.
Oh, real quick, I just want to bring up the fact that Grandpa Seth made that poor child a double-decker bologna sandwich. Like, maybe I just don't like bologna enough, because I'll eat it. But who eats a double-decker, but like plain bologna sandwich? Just a bunch of bologna between 2 slices of bread?
I don't like bologna, but my kid will devour the whole package if I'm not paying attention.
Really?
Yeah. It is bologna is for children. I'm sorry. Whoever's listening, bologna is for children, and I'm not going back on that statement.
I don't think I liked it when I was a kid. Like, I cannot stand bologna.
also
I still to this day like bologna. I won't eat it like a ton, but every so often it's like a snack. All you
It's
want
got,
piece.
like, this red ring around it that you gotta peel. I don't even know if that's edible.
Oh god, yeah. God, don't even bring it up. I know what you're talking about.
bologna
Like, I'll
rind.
eat it. I'll eat it, but like in a sandwich, like with other stuff in it. I'm not gonna eat like a just bologna with some mustard or something. Like, no, that's not happening.
You know, I'm an old guy.
I'm feeling personally attacked over here because I used to not normal bologna, but light bologna because I'm a monster was my absolute favorite as a child.
That explains a lot.
I mean,
Thanks.
do you have a varied diet now?
What?
Do you have a varied diet at this point?
That's a no. I
No.
can tell
That's
you.
a no. That's a no.
No.
Your
I
opinion
can
is
tell you right
negated.
now. It's a no.
I mean, you like what you're gonna like. I'm sure I liked bologna when I was a kid too. I was gonna say,
Oh, I hate normal bologna. I cannot stand normal
There's other
bologna.
kinds of
It's just
bologna?
yes, specifically like I am a very picky eater.
Like, think about the cholesterol.
and the toxins.
That's all the toxins.
My old
The
roommate,
poor animal.
not roommate, but my old friend Ken. He's a older black gentleman, and he used to fry up bologna sandwiches until the day he died. Like so people do eat bologna. Like that's a
Like,
Otherwise, it wouldn't be produced.
yeah. That's
maybe
true.
it's the double decker part. It might be the double decker part
The
that gets
sandwich
me.
was really like it wasn't even a double decker. It was literally just a package of bologna in between 2 raw sandwiches. Two
The
pieces of
entire
bread.
thing.
Just 2 inches of bologna.
Man, yeah,
was
nothing. And
ridiculous.
the kid was eating it, and remember, he hadn't eaten in 2 days, and he didn't even look like he wanted to eat it. He was like, bologna, delicious, thanks, Grandpa. Just like he's like,
Like, why, Grandpa?
I just want to see this, like a scene of the kid in his head being like, last time it was a Molotov, you have lightning powers, and this time
You can
give
stop
me
time.
you give me a fucking bologna sandwich. Do you want me to die? Think of the
Grandpa-
toxins.
You know why he was probably sick of that bologna sandwich? Think how many takes that scene took.
Oh, dude.
How many bologna sandwiches they went through.
When he was taking bites on it, I was like looking at it. It didn't look like he was actually taking bites at first because they had to have done a couple takes on that. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, more bologna. This isn't
What-
Not
funny."
ravenous enough. Do it again.
Because they probably what is the term for like there's like the basket when the people are
They
eating
got
food
like a
to
spit
out.
bucket. Yeah,
Is spit bucket? Is that what they
I don't know
where
if
they
that's
just
what they
spit
call
out?
it. Yeah,
There's like a specific term I've heard used for those to like spit your food out into between takes.
surprisingly, actors don't eat all the food they look like they're eating.
It's because they're weak.
They're cowards.
I'm sorry, but I don't think most actors could probably eat 30 sets of meals every time there's a food scene.
Method
It reminds
actor.
me. It reminds me of who was it? Nick Schwartz was talking about in one of his comedy specials about one of his friends was acting in a movie where he was like ripping bongs, and apparently it was supposed to be fake, but I guess he thought like, wouldn't it be funny if I actually used like the real stuff, and then ended up taking like 20 takes of that scene.
Which one, I guess
like,
there was. I think it might be fable. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but like in Evil Dead, they have a scene where they're all sitting around smoking weed. And I guess they were saying that it was real, and they fucking spent the whole night screwing up the scene over and over again. Anyway,
That's great.
I want to segue here for a second because it reminded me of something about The Room. Is the scene where Johnny comes out under the rooftop? He goes, "I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark." That took over 30 takes in over 3 hours.
And that's the one they did.
Yes.
Oh my god. Also,
disgusting.
I love your Tommy Wiseau impression.
I was going to say,
it
you're
now.
the hero of the podcast today. Give me some
That
more.
was amazing.
It's true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Why is this working too well?
Of all the talents you have, this is the only good one.
Send him straight to the top. All right. That's fun. This has been the Dancer's Paradise Dumbass Movie Pod. Thank you, Soon and Kyler and Strider,
Yeah.
Oh, anytime.
being along for the adventure, and we'll see you next week with some other dumb shit.
It's gonna be great.
Also, catch me on Twitch. Bye.
You bitch.